Jinsung hastily clutched his literally burning arm, crying out in pain. He was about to use an emergency potion, but a gust of blue wind enveloped him, extinguishing the flames. Heron, his party member, then used healing light, restoring his strength. Startled, Jinsung muttered, "Heron? Healing light?" He spun around and called out, "Heron, thanks." Heron simply smiled in response. Jinsung summoned his pet, preparing for battle. "Time for a counterattack!" Lai appeared with a cry. Jinsung, standing beside her, drew his weapon. He ordered Lai, "Draw the Gooberlin chieftain's attention. Don't try to attack it, just focus on aggro." Jinsung switched to his bow, nocking an arrow, ready to fire. He needed to eliminate the other goblins first. Jinsung drew his bow, aiming carefully. He needed an opening. Meanwhile, the Gooberlin chieftain, seemingly having just returned from a patrol, was rampaging, attacking and howling curses. "Everyone, die!" The chieftain was more ferocious now. If Jinsung made a mistake, they'd all be wiped out. The Gooberlin, following his plan, went berserk, attacking everyone and letting its guard down. Right at that moment, Lai rushed forward, drawing its attention. "Now!" Jinsung released his grip, sending an arrow straight towards the distracted Gooberlin chieftain. The arrow flew like the wind. By the time the chieftain realized, it was too late. The Gooberlin chieftain shrieked in panic before Jinsung's arrow finished it off in a single blow. The Gooberlin chieftain lay motionless, gradually fading into particles. Jinsung had done it. Everyone stared, unable to believe the Gooberlin chieftain was dead. Only when the system announced, "Gooberlin chieftain defeated. Quest flee Gooberlin completed," did the group erupt in cheers. "We did it! Quest complete!" With Jinsung having defeated the Gooberlin chieftain, system notifications for rewards popped up wildly. He had officially leveled up to 30, simultaneously unlocking a special skill and also unlocking Space Swap. Jinsung's eyes lit up with interest as he looked at the special skill, Space Swap. Hugo approached Jinsung. "You're the one who killed the Gooberlin chieftain," he said, extending his hand for an interaction. "Well done. You're Ian, right?" Jinsung politely replied, "Yes, Captain." Hugo expressed his goodwill. "We were able to raid the camp without suffering heavy losses thanks to you. I'm very grateful." Jinsung humbly said, "No problem. It was all thanks to the courage of the volunteers who led the way for us to complete the mission." Hugo advised him, "Return safely," then turned to the other soldiers and shouted, "Well done, soldiers! We've completed the mission. Let's return to the village." Jinsung breathed a sigh of relief, patting Lai. "Finally, it's over. I should check the other skills I got, huh?" As he predicted, he received a skill related to potential. He could now allocate skills to his summoned beasts. "I should give Lai a new skill. First, I need to check Lai's potential rank." Jinsung checked and saw Lai's potential was still at 6. He wondered, are 100 potential points that much for Lai's evolution? If its potential reaches 20, I'll try to allocate a skill to it. I want to help it evolve after getting another 100 points, but realistically, allocating a skill to it first would be better. Let me check the second skill. Space Swap. Jinsung was slightly disappointed he hadn't unlocked any attack or capture skills, but these new skills were quite useful for close combat. "These skills are great." He was very satisfied. While he was checking his skills, Heron approached from behind, cheerfully waving and calling his name. Jinsung quickly stood up and walked over to her. Heron bowed her head. "Thank you. We were able to complete the mission because of you." Jinsung chuckled. "You did more than one person could handle." Heron insisted on giving him the main credit, "But without you, we wouldn't have been able to complete it. Please accept my thanks." Jinsung wryly petted Lai. "Actually, Lai did more than I did." Heron also acknowledged Lai. "I was really surprised by Lai. Its close combat skills are amazing." She also came over to pet it. "Thanks for today, Lai." A noise from behind caught Jinsung's attention. He turned to see other players approaching. "What's this? Are these guys coming to introduce themselves?" A young man with a lion's mane hairstyle. Rukin spoke first. "You're Jinsung, right? I didn't get a chance to introduce myself during the mission." Jinsung extended his hand. "Nice to meet you. I'm Jinsung." Rukin enticingly asked, "Would you like to start another quest with us?" Jinsung pondered, then asked, "A quest?" Rukin excitedly told him, "We know a hidden quest related to the camp mission." Jinsung thought to himself, if it's a related quest, it must be the Gooberlin High Priest quest. I was planning to abandon it because of its difficulty, but now I'm at a new level after the camp mission. I was considering it anyway. But these guys look like they're over level 50. Why would they invite us to do the High Priest quest? The level gap is too large for them to benefit. Jinsung feigned innocence, asking, "A related hidden quest, you say?" He had a bad feeling about this. "Should I dig deeper?" Rukin replied, "There's a Gooberlin High Priest quest in the tunnel behind the barracks. We just need to kill him to complete it. He's weaker than the Gooberlin chieftain, but I think it might be a bit difficult for us. I saw your close combat skills, and it seems you have a very powerful summoner artifact. So if you join us, we can complete the quest quickly." Jinsung scoffed inwardly. They think I summoned Lai through a summoner's artifact? Artifacts are very valuable. They're probably planning to ambush me and score a big haul. I get it. Jinsung decided to play along. "All right then, let's see. Should I make an excuse for a bit?" Jinsung and Heron followed Rukin's group to see what they could find out. The two opened a private chat window. Heron curiously asked via chat, "Why are we sending private messages?" Jinsung told her, "Wait a moment." He turned to Rukin and said, "I like the sound of your offer, but I need to ask my teammate first. Can you wait a bit?" Rukin readily agreed. Of course. Jinsung turned to Heron and asked, right in front of Rukin, "What do you think?" Heron scratched her head, pretending to ponder. I think. Meanwhile, in the private chat, Jinsung messaged her, "I think they're trying to PK us." Heron was confused. "PK us?" Jinsung replied, "Exactly. It seems they plan to kill us during the High Priest quest. More accurately, they'll try to kill me rather than us." Heron asked, "So what should we do?" Jinsung told her, "Just say yes to my earlier question." And so Heron readily agreed out loud. "They're offering to share the quest with us, so there's no reason to refuse the invitation." Rukin gave them a thumbs up, inwardly gloating at their perceived foolishness. Heron privately messaged Jinsung, "So what's the plan?" He replied, "Don't worry, I have a plan. Let's round up these fools all at once." Scene change to another location. Lai Jinguk was comfortably relaxing on a rocky outcrop. The air in Kalen was always so fresh. "I can't believe this is virtual reality. The scientists who created this did an amazing job." He resolved to persuade his outdoor club members to hold their next meeting in Kalen. Jinguk fumbled in his inventory and pulled out a kimbap roll, exclaiming, "There it is." He took a large bite and sighed contentedly. "It's not a picnic without kimbap. Oh, right, I almost forgot." Jinguk reached out to his side to summon Luffy. The wolf gradually materialized, becoming fully distinct. The old man then took out a massive slab of meat. "Truly understanding life's pleasures," he said, offering it to Luffy. "Eat this." Luffy pounced and devoured the delicious meat. Jinguk continued to marvel. "It's so comfortable up here. He must be grinding this game hard too, right?" He silently recalled the young man's name. "Park Jinsung, wasn't it? I should have asked his class. No way he's a summoner too, right?" Back to Jinsung. He, Haran, and Rukin's group had boldly entered the cave to carry out the quest. Haran and Jinsung coordinated with surprising synergy, continuously mowing down monsters in the passage. Rukin watched the two with growing excitement, thinking, "Finally, the end of the quest is near. The hidden boss, the Guberlin High Priest, is about to appear. Should I get ready for the real plan?" His plan was that while Haran and Jinsung were busy dealing with the Guberlin High Priest, his group would pretend to be struggling. Then, bam! Ambush the two and loot everything. Soon, he'd have an artifact worth millions of gold in his hands. Just the thought made Rukin's mouth water, which Jinsung found exasperating. Look at him grinning. Couldn't he at least put on a poker face? He silently messaged Haran. "The boss will appear soon." Haran asked, "So what do we do?" Jinsung pointed towards a prison-like area. "If anyone takes even one step in there, the boss will appear in 5 seconds, and the entrance will be sealed by iron bars. We'll keep following their group from behind, and when I give the signal, quickly jump back. Got it?" After explaining the plan to Haran, Jinsung immediately ordered Lai to attack. Lai roared and took down 2 Guberlins at once. Jinsung feigned urgency. "Rukin, can we speed up and head in?" Rukin, overjoyed, nodded eagerly. "This fool knows nothing. He won't be able to escape without his summoned beast. Everything is going according to plan." Jinsung read Rukin like an open book. "I know exactly what that anaconda-headed fool is thinking." After clearing the low-level Guberlins, Rukin led the way to the Guberlin High Priest's location. "See over there? The Guberlin High Priest and 2 brutes will appear there. Let's go in now." Jinsung played along. "Lai, you lead the way." Lai obediently advanced step by step. Jinsung stood outside, silently observing and counting down. "Now!" He grabbed Haran's hand and pulled her backward, narrowly escaping the descending iron bars. Rukin, however, clung to the bars, yelling as if his lungs would burst. "What are you 2 doing? Why didn't you come in?" Jinsung scoffed. "Why? Are you seriously asking me why? Ha! I knew you guys were planning to PK us and snatch my summoner artifact." Rukin, his plan exposed, stammered, "What? How did you know?" Jinsung replied coolly, "Naturally, I have no reason to follow your plan. You 3 have fun in there." Rukin ground his teeth, cursing, "You fool! You don't understand anything. You can't get out of here. The quest states that returning outside is impossible unless the boss monster is killed or all party members are wiped out. Actually, we can handle the Guberlin High Priest ourselves. After we kill the High Priest and these bars lift, it'll be your funeral. Soon, yo, it'll be your ass." Jinsung chuckled. "Thanks for the warning." Then he shouted, "Lai, bite!" At his command, Lai instantly lunged and attacked Milan, sending Rukin into a panic. He hastily drew his sword and charged, but it was too late. Rukin, infuriated, ground his teeth. "This rabid dog!" At that moment, Jinsung unsummoned Lai, leaving Rukin and his now significantly weaker companion to face the Guberlin High Priest. Rukin, stunned speechless by this turn of events, could only stare at the Guberlin High Priest and then curse Jinsung. Rukin was seething, but could only shout, "You bastard! You think we can't kill the boss just because of this? After we kill this boss and the iron bars lift, you're next." Jinsung sat down leisurely. I don't think you can." The Guberlin High Priest and its 2 hulking minions were growling behind Rukin, making him nervous. "Damn it!" Rukin drew his sword and charged forward, telling his 2 companions, "Deal with these boss monsters first. We'll handle Jinsung later." He shot a venomous glare at Jinsung. "Let's see if you can stay so calm later." Jinsung happily sat back to enjoy the show. Does any third-rate villain actually succeed after spouting lines like that? Haran, still showing a shred of concern, asked, "Will they be okay?" Jinsung replied, "If you're worried, go help them." Heron gave a wry smile and pointed forward. Help. Rukin and his underlings have lost the initiative and can only weakly defend. Rukin tried hard, but it was insignificant. He boasted loudly as he rushed to deal some minor damage to one of the Guberlin High Priest's minions, while the Guberlin High Priest itself stood behind its minions, continuously chanting to buff its allies. Rukin immediately turned and shouted to his companions, "We need to get the High Priest before he finishes his chant." Milan raised his spear, preparing to throw. "Leave it to me." The spear whistled through the air, aiming straight for the Guberlin High Priest's shoulder, making it shriek in pain. Rukin seized the opportunity. This is enough. But Jinsung didn't like letting others off so easily. He cast his skill, Blessing of Berserk. Jinsung's skill was like a shot of adrenaline for the Guberlin High Priest's minions. The combat power of the already formidable Guberlins increased by a whopping 35%. Before Rukin could process it, Heron also raised her hand and buffed the Guberlins with Blessing of Wind. Rukin couldn't believe his eyes. "Arr!" he shrieked, cursing her. "You're buffing the monsters?" After casting her buff, Heron turned to Jinsung and asked if that was all right. Jinsung asked her, "Since you're at it, why not bless their strength too?" Heron twirled her staff, humming thoughtfully, "Should I?" Rukin and his companions wailed, "No, please, don't." There was no need for any more fighting. Rukin raised the white flag of surrender. Quest failed. Time skip. Heron and Jinsung emerged from the cave after a bountiful haul. Jinsung checked the loot. "Those fools left behind some pretty good items," he said to Heron. "Now let's head to the auction house and sell these." Heron's eyes sparkled. "Thanks, Jinsung. Because of you, we completed the quest and got valuable items too." Jinsung chuckled, encouraging her. "No problem, Heron. You did great too. But who knew the High Priest would drop its earthen necklace? Splitting it was a bit unfortunate, but I got plenty of other items, so it wasn't a total loss." He added, "I didn't realize you were so battle-hungry, Heron. Let's go to the auction house." The two went to the auction house, made their transactions, and received a large pouch of gold. Jinsung, having struck a good deal, was visibly pleased. "I knew it! We made a bundle!" After deducting the auction house fees, the total came to 660,000 gold. Jinsung rummaged through his bag. "What's this stone?" It was one of the items dropped by the Peekers. It felt warm. Maybe it's a heat pack for winter? The item description only said unclear. Throwing it away would be a shame. Just then, Heron returned, having bought food for dinner. Seeing her, Jinsung said, "Let's go finish this quest." Heron and Jinsung returned to Lapis. The old man welcomed him. "Your contribution was quite something." The system announced he had completed the quest. This trip had yielded a bountiful harvest of valuable items and a level up. Jinsung grinned broadly. The experience points were plentiful, and the gold reward was substantial too. Heron excitedly told Jinsung, "I leveled up. I'm level 46 now." He happily congratulated his friend and took the opportunity to ask Lapis something. Jinsung took out the necklace the Guberlin High Priest had gifted him. "Actually, I encountered the Guberlin High Priest behind the barracks." Lapis's jaw dropped. "You even managed to kill the Guberlin High Priest? That's incredible." And just like that, Jinsung leveled up again. Lapis found the young man fascinating. "I'm impressed. The guard unit has been searching for the Guberlin High Priest for months. How did you find him?" Jinsung demurred. "It was just luck, really." Lapis knew it couldn't just be luck. He took out a carefully wrapped letter. "You deserve this." Jinsung opened it and was utterly shocked. Lapis continued, "It seems you are indeed worthy." As he spoke, a scroll tied with a ribbon materialized in his hand. When Jinsung unrolled the scroll, he couldn't believe his eyes. The document shone with a dazzling light, like a sunbeam striking his heart and illuminating his face. A notification panel appeared. "Received letter of recommendation to join Lucifer's mercenary guild." He'd been anxious, wondering what it could be, and it turned out to be a quest completion reward. After Jinsung admired the glorious introduction, Lapis quickly handed him the notice, not forgetting to add, "Now that you have this, you can participate in the Lucifer Mercenary Kingdom's entrance examination. You must take the test in Musan, as he, PJ, is greatly anticipating your exceptional talent." Holding the admission paper, Jinsung's heart fluttered. He promised Lapis he would definitely seize this opportunity. Lapis, not one to let young talent go to waste, immediately turned to Haran, who was standing nearby. Quick as a flash, he produced another notice, expressing his delight at her dedication to the future of the Lucifer Kingdom. Haran, holding the notice, looked confused and asked Jinsung, "Do you know what this recommendation is for?" "Of course I do," Jinsung replied. "If you take this paper to Musan, you can participate in that incredibly tough mercenary examination." His words seemed a bit unclear to her, especially, where exactly is Musan? Seeing she still hadn't quite grasped it, Jinsung happily explained, "In Kalen there are 5 continents. The currently open one is Kolanazu, which is where we are. There's also a newly opened area called Ma'aka. Within the Kolanazu continent, there are 2 large kingdoms. One of them is Lucifer, with its capital Musan, named after the kingdom's heroes." After his detailed explanation, she began to understand. "Ah, now I remember," Heron said. "You can't go to Musan before level 50, right?" Heron then voiced a common curiosity. "What's the point of taking this mercenary examination?" Jinsung, ever practical, replied, "It's not about dreams. If you pass the test and get a badge, it's easier to find quests, and you gain more benefits from the guild. The type of badge you receive depends on your combat skills." "It all sounds very appealing," Heron mused, but I mostly just cook, so I don't think I really need something so involved. Hearing her mention cooking surprised Jinsung. Her plan was to go back and train her cooking skills until she got stuck on a main quest. Her endearing plan made Jinsung chuckle. He didn't know about other professions, but her cooking skill level had to be challenger tier. Just imagining how her cooking could boost Lai's stats was proof enough. Jinsung, even if he thought about it 100 times, couldn't recall anyone else whose food provided such significant buffs. This led him to conclude that Heron's cooking was truly special. With this in mind, he asked, "What's your cooking proficiency level? How many dishes have you sold?" Heron had considered keeping it a secret, but since he asked so directly, she revealed, "It's high grade level 1, and I don't plan on stopping there. I intend to learn many more skills." Her words left Jinsung speechless, his eyes wide. Even for a common profession like blacksmithing, the highest proficiency he'd heard of was high grade, level 3. To think she had reached such a level in cooking. He was certain she was among the highest ranked. He showered her with praise for her talent and promised to support her, telling her to contact him if she needed anything. This made Heron blush with pleasure, and she shyly thanked him. The sudden lovey-dovey atmosphere startled Jinsung. He wondered if he'd done something wrong. Though he thought this inwardly, he outwardly played along. Just as he breathed a sigh of relief, he glanced over and saw a friend request notification from Heron. Jinsung quickly accepted it without much thought. His straightforward attitude made her see him in a new light. Her usually listless eyes now sparkled. Shyly, she took a small box from her inventory and offered it to him. Seeing the two in such an atmosphere, practically radiating affection, even made Lapis, who was standing nearby, watch with keen interest. Jinsung looked at the small box in his hand and curiously asked her, "What's this?" Heron hesitantly replied, "It's something I made while waiting for you." When Jinsung opened the box, an incredibly fragrant aroma wafted up, and its appearance was just like an illustration. It looked absolutely delicious. He was stunned and thanked her profusely. "You're truly an angel." Heron was happy to see him accept it so readily. She just hoped he wouldn't misunderstand her intentions. Looking at such appetizing food, Jinsung just wanted to quickly savor its exquisite taste. Heron quickly said, "Please don't make a big deal out of it. It's nothing compared to how much you've helped me." After she spoke, Heron's image began to fade. She didn't forget to say goodbye. "I hope we meet again soon." Jinsung waved back amicably as she disappeared. After bidding farewell to the young woman, Jinsung mentally arranged his schedule. If he stuck to his plan, he had about 5 more hours before he needed to log off for sleep. "I leveled up much faster than expected today," he mused to himself. "I wonder if I should grab dinner and then come back to play some more." Looking at the fragrant box in his hand, Jinsung wondered if he should treat himself to some real-life chicken. The sky today was exceptionally calm. Our protagonist was currently riding his beloved pet, Lai, who shot forward like an arrow, kicking up dust. Yet, Jinsung urged it on. "Faster, Lai, we're running out of time." Lai continued to dash madly onward. Jinsung was still thinking about that spicy chicken. The delivery was slower than he'd anticipated, forcing him to rush like this. After a while, Jinsung and Lai finally reached the cliffside overlooking the harbor. Seeing the cargo ship about to leave the dock, Jinsung frantically changed direction. "Quick, to the port, or we'll miss it!" Just when he was in a rush, he couldn't clearly remember the way to the harbor. Now to catch a golem, he'd have to go all the way to the Abyssal Island. Lost in thought, he finally reached the port just as the cargo ship weighed anchor, preparing to set sail. Realizing he was about to miss it, he yelled, "Lai, hurry! Just run straight towards the ship." But it seemed like he'd woken up on the wrong side of the bed today. Everything was going awry. The ship cut through the waves, steadily moving away from the port. Needless to say, Jinsung was gutted watching the ship depart. But he didn't give up. Gripping Lai's soft fur tightly, he commanded his pet, "Run with all your might. We have to get on that ship." Lai, all too familiar with its master's habit of leaving things to the last second, reluctantly agreed. In a flash, moving at the speed of light, only an after-image remained as they soared high into the air, their figures a blur against the bright sky. The sailors on the ship who witnessed this were utterly astonished, their jaws dropping. What in the... But their impressive leap lasted less than 3 seconds. Due to the considerable distance, they began to falter mid-air, about to plunge into the sea. Just as they were about to make an undignified splash, Jinsung, with quick thinking, pushed off Lai's back, using it as a springboard for a powerful jump. He didn't forget to unsummon Lai as he landed safely on the ship's deck. Thank goodness for that bit of luck, or this would have been a real headache. The onlookers stared, mouths agape, completely shocked. Their intense gazes made Jinsung's skin crawl. He quickly turned away to avoid future trouble, but he couldn't escape their scrutinizing looks. Because he'd been so focused on the chase, he hadn't gotten a good look at the ship. Now, seeing its somewhat tattered and dilapidated condition, he was slightly disappointed. Couldn't they use a better one? Just as he was lost in these thoughts, a clear voice cut through his musings. A stranger with shoulder-length hair asked him, "Are you a summoner?" Startled, Jinsung looked up to see a line of people sizing him up from head to toe. Jinsung, seeing this, replied politely, but with a hint of caution in his voice. "Yes, but why do you ask?" The shoulder-length haired man smirked. "Just as I thought." His demeanor made Jinsung adopt a ready stance. Looking around, he only saw this group. From Jinsung's perspective, they looked like fierce tigers, waiting for their prey. "Hui," Jinsung thought, not hesitating, and quickly drew his large saber. "They must be peekers." Just as he was about to brace for a fight, he paused. The group suddenly became animated, asking him about the wolf he had just ridden, their eyes filled with admiration. They all wanted him to summon Lai again so they could get another look. Their actions made Jinsung realize his misunderstanding. He'd almost made a terrible mistake and picked a fight with the wrong people. Jinsung quickly hid the saber he was gripping. So they just like Lai. My vigilance was for nothing. Once the misunderstanding was cleared up, the group crowded around Jinsung, striking up a conversation and asking him questions. Jinsung, curious about their intentions for being on this ship, asked if they were also heading to the island for a quest. A blonde man didn't hide anything. Just as you thought, the two people next to me are mages, and we're here to help them complete their quest with magic. Hen, one of the mages, then assumed Jinsung was also there for a quest. However, the mage standing beside Hen quickly interjected, could there really be a quest for a summoner on the Abyssal Island? This made Hen blush deeply, and he repeatedly bowed his head, apologizing for his forwardness. Seeing Jinsung was approachable, Hen confided in him, actually, I'm very interested in summoners. A friend in my group, Len, is also a summoner. Recently, he found a summoned beast egg. Do you know if such things exist? As he spoke, he summoned an image to describe it. Hearing about a summoned beast egg piqued Jinsung's suspicion. He looked at the egg in Hen's hand and curiously asked, what is this? Seeing Jinsung seemed unfamiliar with it, Hen honestly shared, they said they found a golden owl's nest and discovered this egg, but it hasn't hatched yet. That's all I heard. Hen's words reminded Jinsung of the golden owl hunting ground meant for the latter half of level 20. So this player, Logan, likely a misinterpretation of Len, isn't even level 30 yet. The mere thought that summoned beast eggs existed thrilled Jinsung. He made a mental note to pay more attention in the future. Even if they were unkillable boss-level monsters, he should still look for their eggs. He could use them as summoned beasts. The more he thought about it, the more profitable it seemed. He had to be vigilant. The ship continued to sail across the vast ocean, the waves lapping rhythmically against its hull, a soothing sound. After a while, a colossal snow-covered mountain finally appeared before them. A chilling aura emanated from it, with white mist swirling around. Standing on the deck, Jinsung gazed into the distance and joyfully exclaimed, finally, we've reached the Abyssal Island. The ship, like a warhorse, charged towards a large rocky shore and then stopped. The group disembarked, beginning their exploration of the Abyssal Island. Everyone who arrived shivered from the bone-chilling cold of the climate. Only our protagonist seemed unaffected, at least outwardly. In reality, he was also about to be frozen solid by the temperature. Though he had been here before, the place was still an enigma to him. It wasn't just him. Lai, beside him, was so cold its snot had frozen. It kept glancing at Jinsung with a puzzled look. Jinsung and the group, according to their plan, split up, each going their separate ways. River water not meddling with well water. After preparing thoroughly, Jinsung put on several more layers of clothing. Lai's fur also turned a brilliant red. The two of them set off to explore. Right at the foot of the mountain where they stood, giant, mindless stone golems were lumbering about. After observing and analyzing the terrain for a moment, Jinsung thought to himself, this trip is going to be productive. I've stumbled upon a great hunting ground by chance. But before taking action, he felt lazy and wanted to rest a bit. First, he needed to refuel. No sooner said than done, Jinsung reached into his thick coat pocket, searching for the lunch Heron had made for him. He pulled out a massive piece of meat, making Lai's eyes shine like headlights. Not disappointing his pet, Jinsung tossed the meat, and it landed squarely in the summoned beast's small mouth, leaving it utterly content. After eating one piece of meat, for 40 minutes, its health increased by 100 and dexterity by 20. Looking at the large stat panel before him, Jinsung patted Lai's head in praise. He hadn't expected its dexterity to increase by a full 20 points this time, and the duration was even doubled. Seeing another piece in his hand, a bold idea struck him. Should I try it? But before he could regret it, the smell of the meat wafted towards him, making him feel queasy. Only now did Jinsung recall Heron's warning. This meat is only for Lee. So that's why, he thought, and quickly put the round piece of meat away. He then took out the lunchbox she had painstakingly prepared. Sure enough, as soon as he opened it, a fragrant aroma filled the air, along with an appearance so delicious and smooth. Just one bite would make you stuff your face. And so he dug in, savoring every last delicious drop. Jinsung scraped the container clean, finally full and comfortable, stretching out to relax. A system notification popped up. You have eaten high-grade lean meat for 1 hour, strength plus 500, defense plus 30. Looking at his astonishing stats, Jinsung thought, the effect of this meatball is truly amazing. Suddenly, another notification appeared. All your stats will be permanently tripled. He was utterly shocked, unable to believe it, thinking the system might be bugged. Jinsung immediately opened his status window. Only when he saw it with his own eyes did he confirm that all his stats had indeed tripled. He had a total of 7 stats, and each one tripling meant he gained 21 stat points. If converted to levels, that was like gaining 21 levels. Heron is truly on another level. Absolutely top tier. Soaring high, he thought. It's best if I take advantage of this and have Heron cook more food for me. After feasting and resting, the two officially set out. Let's go catch a big ice block. Meanwhile, in the Lucifer Kingdom, a teleportation light appeared in the streets. Rukin's group, having just escaped death, were gasping for air. It seems the plan really failed. They all checked their equipment. Unsurprisingly, Everyone had lost a few items, making Milan and Rukin groan in regret. However, the blonde-haired man was luckier. He had lost everything because he couldn't unequip any items. He's the one who should be crying. Just thinking about it made him furious, and he blamed Jinsung's group. They were very weak. If we hadn't fallen into a trap, we wouldn't be sitting here like this. He resolved to make Jinsung pay. He swore that from this day on, he wouldn't let them set foot in Kaelin. After Jinsung cleared out all the straggling mobs, he was exhausted from hunting for 10 consecutive hours. He ordered Lai to rest for a bit. The two found a random spot to sit down. Seeing Lai panting heavily from the battle, Jinsung felt a pang of pity and pulled out a meatball, asking if it wanted to eat more. Just the sight of the plump, fragrant meatball made Lai drool uncontrollably. Jinsung quickly fulfilled its simple wish. As Lai enjoyed its favorite treat, it hummed happily, making Jinsung chuckle. Lai never would have guessed its master would be so generous today. Fearing one meatball was too little, Jinsung pulled out another, moving Lai so much that its drool formed a puddle. But, to Jinsung's surprise, Lai blocked his hand, indicating it didn't want to eat. This confused him. Is the cat turning down fat today? But seeing it shake its head vigorously, he understood. His beloved pet was being kind today and wanted to share its food with him, warming his heart. After Lai ate its fill, Jinsung busied himself checking the stats of the ice golems. The two he had captured were both level 37, making him hesitate. Should I catch another one to increase my command points? Looking at the two in his control panel, they were quite large compared to the others, but he still felt something was missing. He glanced at Lai, who was sleeping soundly. He needed one more that could evolve like Lai, but after some thought, he decided he should rest a bit. After all, he had already spent a lot of time here. Surely I can catch one more, right? Watching the giant golems roaming in front of him, Jinsung hid behind a rock crevice, observing. After a while, he spotted something unusual, a golden golem, completely different from the others. Could it be that after a string of bad luck, the heavens are finally smiling upon me? No sooner thought than done. Not wanting to let the opportunity slip away, he ordered Lai, "Quick, go get it." Just as they were preparing to charge, a cute, adorable turtle suddenly appeared out of nowhere, surprising him. He immediately checked its information. When he saw ABC Turtle, level 30 unique on the screen, he was stunned. It was the first time he'd ever heard of such a creature. But a unique grade? The heavens must have shot a lucky arrow at me today. Although it looked rather useless, it was cute with its large head. He didn't know if it had any combat skills. But whatever. Better to catch it by mistake than to miss it. He had a special feeling about it. It was rare, a species he didn't know, and moreover, it was unique grade, so he couldn't let it escape. Suddenly, he noticed something strange. Jinsung moved straight towards the ABC turtle, which was slowly dragging its heavy feet. He felt like one tap would be enough to make it faint, not to mention using magic. He really couldn't understand how it managed to fit its cannon-like head into its shell. Acting on his thought, he raised the staff in his hand and brought it down on the cute turtle. Startling it, it immediately turned angry, as if someone dared to tease it. In just 1 minute and 30 seconds, it had pulled its head and tail completely into its tiny shell. Both he and Lai were bewildered. Did anyone do anything? Did anyone even touch it? Why such an overreaction? Seeing it like this, well, this is convenient. I can just capture it now. Jinsung summoned his universal circle and ordered the capture of the baby turtle, but the command announced loudly, "Capture failed, cannot be captured." This left Jinsung completely stumped, not understanding why he couldn't catch it. He had to change his strategy and lower its health first. He swung his staff, attacking the ABC turtle, reducing its health by 1. Seeing his attack was weak, he launched a flurry of kicks at the stubborn turtle. Finally, after a period of fighting, he was covered in sweat, but it had only lost a tiny bit of health. What the hell? Jinsung glanced at Lai. Quick, bite it. This terrified his pet, but it was an order. Lai reluctantly lunged forward and took a large bite of the turtle's shell. The result? Only Lai's teeth ended up scattered. Jinsung cursed silently, wondering what its defense stat was. Looking at the turtle shell, immobile as a rock, his mind was a tangled mess. He didn't know what to do. In his predicament, a foolish idea struck him. Try feeding it Haren's meatballs. He pulled out a fragrant meatball and began to sweetly coax the rare creature. If you don't eat this, it's your loss. Don't blame me for not telling you. Sure enough, sweet words and a gluttonous nature did the trick. It poked its head out. He continued to tempt it. If you want to eat, come over here. He slowly extended the delicious, round meatball. The ABC turtle waddled over with all its might. Just as it was about to take a bite, Jinsung, with a flash of roguishness, snatched the bait away. The small turtle, enraged, glared at him with eyes that wanted to fight him to the death. Jinsung didn't say much. If you agree to follow me, I'll give you even tastier food than this. Don't you want it, turtle? After speaking, he didn't forget to show off a pile of delicious, fatty meat, mesmerizing the little turtle. He repeated, "Just make a deal, and it's all yours." He heard the capture command activate, and very quickly he successfully captured the stubborn turtle. What a goofy turtle. Harder to catch than a supermodel. Suddenly, while scrolling through the notifications, he noticed something wasn't right. It can evolve! Jinsung looked at the notification screen, reading the information for the growing turtle. I knew there'd be something interesting. But wait, what's this? Such strange stats. Only its defense was high, and its special skill added +5 armor. This little turtle seems to have breakthrough growth. Its armor is even higher than a level 100 monster's. No wonder it only lost 1 health point after all that fighting. Don't underestimate it just because it's cute. He checked its hidden potential. His jaw dropped again. Its hidden potential was at 0 points. What a letdown. I don't get it. Some things are just hard to explain. I guess my only hope is that this turtle can evolve later. The whole family's looking forward to the day it grows up. Right. Who knows what it will become after evolving? No point in guessing. He summoned the turtle. Being summoned for the first time like a newborn, it didn't have a name. Right. Your name will be Pook Pooji. Don't think I'm clueless just because I'm small. It expressed its indignation at the cheesy name he gave it. What do you mean? Pook Pooji is a cute name. Neither would back down. Lai, the lone wolf standing by, had to sigh. Beneath the giant stone mountains, stone monsters were clambering up. Lai, time to hunt. At the command, the lone wolf's eyes glinted red as it lunged at the snowstone monster. The stone monster threw a few punches, sending rocks flying. The wolf snarled, baring its sharp teeth, ready to crunch stone. It was an endless battle, both sides charging, neither willing to yield. That's right, you're doing great. Keep weakening it. Jinsung cheered from above, encouraging his lone wolf. The stone giant continuously threw punches, while the wolf dodged like an agile fish. Fighting like this was getting a bit boring, so the monster created a little effect to spice things up. An ice wave. It was trying to cast that skill. Lai, dodge it! Get away from there! The stone giant stood proudly like a toad, stomping so hard it seemed to shake the earth. Lai jumped. At this moment, Jinsung followed, directing his wolf flawlessly. -2 lives. Because it had just used that skill, it would be a while before it could use it again. He seized the opportunity, jumped, and flew towards the monster, attacking in place of the wolf. The wolf, having just glanced away, was caught off guard, its vision blackening as it was kicked hard, a memorable blow. Rocks flew, but it didn't seem to do much damage. Attack now, Lai. 2 against 1. Even if not crippled, it'll be lamed. Both master and beast, eyes blazing, charged forward, determined to fight the monster to the bitter end. The battle's intensity doubled. Everyone knew which side would win. Jinsung successfully captured the ice golem. It took a while to catch one he was satisfied with. Earth and stone, now all in my hands. He read its information and had to admit, it's truly worth the effort. So we're all set, right? Where's that turtle? He had just dealt with one and lost track of the other. It took me almost 2 days to catch this golem. I should probably head back. The fight had been so intense that the turtle had snacked on a fish to stave off hunger. All right, next up is Cropia Snow Mountain, continuing the beast hunting journey to bring back the brightest little ones. In Cropia Castle, a beautiful older sister was showing off her wifely skills, cooking up a storm of delicacies. This venture is a success, right? Truly born talented. Just looking at her, you know how delicious the food will be. Hot lobster and cream sauce is ready. If I were a bit more careful, this would probably sell for nearly 10,000 gold. I should rest a bit, huh? The beautiful girl had toiled in the kitchen to make one dish, so she needed to recover to cook again tomorrow. It's really beyond expectations. Ever since I started cooking in Duke's kitchen, my proficiency has increased so quickly. Turns out, because the castle kitchen is high-end, the food naturally tastes better. I wonder what Jinsung is doing now. I miss him, so I should message him first. I'll deal with being tired later. Heron was messaging and giggling to herself when she suddenly froze. Jinsung needs my help? I'm planning to go to the northern region and would like some of Heron's food. The two, seemingly at opposite ends of the earth, were still flirting via text like newlyweds. That's easy. I've also just prepared quite a bit of food. Where should we meet? Good thing. The lobster dish just came out, and someone's already claimed it. It's also good that Jinsung asked. I wouldn't have been able to finish all the food I made anyway. I'll meet him soon. Once struck by Cupid's arrow, distance is no longer an issue. It's not like I want to meet him or anything. It's just because he asked, Heron thought, her face as red as a tomato, eagerly anticipating meeting him. Instantly, Jinsung returned to his real life, working on his computer instead of wielding a sword. Let's see if there's any useful news today. What's this? New information about a summoner discovered? I was only away from home for a bit, and so much has happened. Is this the wolf that attracted so many summoners to Caliper's Hill? Yes, that's right. I call her Coco. The MC was interviewing today's main attraction, a red fox and its beautiful owner. I've heard that Coco is different from others of her kind. Is that right? That's right. If you look at her information, you'll see a line that says can evolve. Hearing this, Jinsung couldn't stop his mouth from practically becoming a fountain. What? Information about summonable beasts that can evolve has finally been revealed. He'd never encountered this before, so he was a bit taken aback. But on second thought, it wasn't such a big deal. It was only a matter of time. Besides, I'm glad they only found out now. The number of summoner players is already uncountable. They look cool and mysterious, so they attract a lot of people. It's only a matter of time before they find out that summoned beasts can evolve. Everyone will have to painstakingly raise their pets to make them a bit bigger to be useful. But without training skills, it's really difficult to evolve them. Jinsung sat there, biting his spoon, trying to figure out how to make his child grow up faster. Is there no other information? Huh? A unique grade monster? A red-striped-eyed bear was roaring on TV like a beauty queen, competing in an international pageant. Ah, I already have one of those. This guy had everything, and was still sitting there, biting his spoon, pretending to be surprised. Level 23 and caught it? Highly likely he got help from guild members or acquaintances to capture it. Scheming and plotting too much was tiring. Well, let's go check on Pukpuji. I've been admiring other people's pets too much and forgot about my own. Early in the morning, Jinsung was seen from afar carrying a giant sack, making everyone turn their heads. Isn't that a bit much? Heron only charged me for the ingredients? Would that be too much trouble for you? Worried that Jinsung would go hungry, she had prepared a food supply bigger than Jinsung himself. It's nothing, really, compared to the quest you helped me with, and that necklace. This is nothing. Looking into her eyes, you could tell she'd be willing to cook for him for a lifetime, let alone charge him money. It seems there are some super expensive items in here too. I want to dig in right away. I spent all afternoon struggling with someone else's lobster, worried about paying too much. Thanks a lot. I don't know how to repay Heron. Jinsung was being too polite, so Heron seized the opportunity. In that case, could you help me with 2 things? He had blurted it out earlier, so now he had to nod in agreement, or he'd starve. The first request is, when you're hunting in the northern region, if you see any ingredients on this list, please get them for me. Ah, okay, I can help with that. This request is quite reasonable. And the second request is... Heron hesitated, shifting uncomfortably. She looked very unnatural. I wonder what she's going to ask. I hope it doesn't take too much time away from my leveling. I have a million things to do, but for the sake of food, I have to listen. Please help me with my upcoming school assignment. When I asked Juan, he said, "You're studying at Korea University." Yes, that's right. I'm a freshman there. Schoolwork? Does that mean she wants my help in real life? He hadn't heard the whole thing, but he was already feeling a bit apprehensive. I'm studying hotel culinary arts at Korea University, and I'm a sophomore. Finally, I understand. I can't believe we go to the same university, and she's my senior. I can't avoid this. You like delicious food, right? I really hope you can try all my dishes and see which one is the best. The course I'm taking is about creating original dishes. So Jinsung understood the purpose of that giant bag of food. Ah, so I just need to eat and tell you if it's delicious? That's right, you'll definitely help me, won't you? It sounded simple, but also a bit awkward, making him scratch his head. Why is Heron asking me this? Doesn't she have any friends? No more questions now. The food I cook is only for you to eat, he thought. I guess it's because she's unique, so not many people interact with her. Jinsung made wild guesses, but none matched her true feelings. From now on, let's focus on getting gear. He returned to his game, preparing for the upcoming adventure. The quest in this area is a bit dangerous, and there isn't much information. I have to make sure I have the best gear to fight when I get there. He gathered everything he needed to start the new battle. I've bought everything I need. Now I need a weapon. I wonder if there's a bow like the wild type I bought before. As expected, there were no bows at his level that could deal high damage. These accompanying tools are too mediocre, not good enough to go with me. There are no bows that can increase the power of my summoned beasts. Should I broaden my search? After looking around for a long time, he finally chose an ancient summoner's iron gauntlet. After reading about it, Jinsung understood its skill. He returned to that familiar scene, with snow-covered rocky mountains, and of course, giant stone monsters. The scene opened with the two sides chasing each other, as if they hadn't met in a long time, filled with longing. I'll attack from the front, so you cover the back. Man and beast split up to fight more easily and end it quickly. Again, it was those earth-shattering punches that sent rocks flying into the sky. While fighting, Jinsung discovered the monster's weak point and couldn't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I believe in you. I spent 900,000 gold on you. I invested in these high-quality gauntlets to duke it out with that monster and see who wins. Without hesitation, he rushed forward, pummeling the monster with both fists, startling it. It hadn't had time to react. Discovering the weak point was really worth the money. Good thing I bought it. Jinsung was smug about the treasure he had chosen himself. It looks like a child's toy, but it's quite useful. Looking at it again, he still liked its inherent ability. Wait, if it's random, does that include Pukpuji? So if it activates, I'll also. Jinsung was horrified, imagining himself about to transform into Puk-Puk-Sung. Fortunately, there was a regulation about physical characteristics. He stood there muttering, making the monster freeze too. Should I use the new skill I got from level 30? The monster heard him and roared in agreement. This time, it wasn't just one, but two, and they were carrying props. Jinsung was caught in the middle, but escaped, somehow causing the two brothers to hit each other on the head with their clubs. It worked. You can see how much these two brothers love each other, just playing around a bit for fun. Even if it was a slap, it still dealt over 1,000 damage. So, it's a level 60 ice fairy. I have to take it down before it gets a chance to heal. This fairy was also an experienced veteran, so defeating it wouldn't be easy. You have dealt a critical hit to the ice fairy. Probably because it was attacked so suddenly, it didn't have time to react. I need to keep attacking. Jinsung used all his strength to finish off this monster. The ice fairy was no pushover either, so both sides fought with fierce determination, eyes blazing. My body is nimbler. I'm overflowing with power. However, in this state, I'll die if I take even one hit. Jinsung utilized his precious gauntlets, but still had to be careful not to ascend to heaven prematurely. When a monster attacks with a wide area of effect, it will then reveal an opening. Without further ado, he rushed forward. All or nothing. You have just dealt a critical hit to the ice fairy. To deliver the final blow, Jinsung punched the ice fairy in the face again with his beloved gauntlets, finishing it off. The gauntlets had completed their mission once more. felling the giant stone monster, which rolled to the ground. You have killed an ice fairy. Received 1.06 million experience points. Evening in the dense forest. The wind howled, and snow covered the ground. A family with orange-dyed hair was warming themselves by a fire. I've set up a perimeter, because level 100 plus ice orcs might appear at any time. One man boasted of his achievement, earning praise from Florazin. The northern region is no place to play around. Luckily, we came on this expedition. Thanks to it, we can build a foundation for the guild. As he spoke, the man poured Lauren a glass of water so she could think about the next plan. Although the reason we came here is because there isn't much territory left in the northern region, the question is, can we protect the place we occupy? We have to do it within 3 months. Until we achieve that, we need to utilize every member to fortify our stronghold. Immediately after completing the expedition, we must bring the guild members here. The group sounded large and busy with many tasks, including hunting in the surrounding areas. Everyone will come, except one person. The whole gang, and you'd leave one brother behind? What do you mean? Of course, it's Jinsung. He has to hunt a lot in the southern region to level up. I don't know if Jinsung has reached the northern region yet. The best one has been left behind. Well, successful people have their own paths. Recently, he just asked me for some information about the northern region. He said he's going to hunt in the Cropia Snow Mountains and is looking for all available information. Hearing about Jinsung's diligence made the other man curious. I wonder what level he is now. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, it's a good thing that Jinsung levels up quickly, right? The goose-faced man wondered what Jinsung was doing without inviting him. After defeating the ice fairy, the world became peaceful. Jinsung, still wearing the gauntlets, was walking his lone wolf. Now I'm sharing experience with 4 instead of 2, so I can clearly see that leveling up has become much harder, even though I just passed level 40. Seeing its comrades beaten so badly, the remaining ice fairy was so scared it willingly became Jinsung's pet. It must be time for Slap's potential to reach 100, right? Time to discipline this newly adopted pet that's bigger than its master. Why is it like this? Slap's potential has reached 100, so why hasn't it evolved yet? This beast is huge, but its soul is still tiny. It refuses to grow up. I know one of the evolution conditions is 100 potential points. Are there other requirements besides potential? Level? But I remember Lai was only level 2 when it evolved. Does each monster require a different evolution level? Whatever, I can't do anything about it now. Jinsung stood there, muttering to himself again, trying to figure out how to raise his precious pet. Now I have to use training skills on Pukpuji? This tender little turtle just learning to walk is already being used as a lab rat. Where did that Pukpuji go? It probably knew this good thing was coming and ran off. If it were attacked, the system would have notified me. I'll have to lure it out with tasty bait. Come out, and I'll give you this meatball. After circling a few times, he saw the turtle diligently burying its head in the ground. He thought it was doing something, but it turned out to be munching on a ghost potato. Pukpuji's potential increased by 10. All stats increased by 5. Jinsung flew into a rage because his pet was eating too much, beyond control. The turtle continued to chew contentedly. Ghost potato is a rare medicinal herb. Note, increases all stats by 5 points. He was jealous. I should have eaten that. It would have been more beneficial. Not this tiny turtle. Next time I find something similar, you have to give it to me. I'll give you a meatball. Jinsung instructed, bribing it in exchange for the meatball. Although by the turtle's expression, it was clear it understood human language, it still looked resentful and crawled away, probably wanting to find a new master. Unexpectedly, it led him to a secret cellar. No way! This might be... You have become the first to discover this labyrinth. Jinsung cheered with delight. Because he was the first to explore this labyrinth, he also learned that for the next 5 days, the item drop rate here would be doubled. It wasn't a waste of effort coming all this way to the northern region. Jinsung was offered to register the labyrinth, which would grant him 500 fame. Jinsung, being stingy, didn't want to share the experience or the doubled item drop rate with other players, even though 500 fame wasn't a small amount. He hugged Puji, praising it. Well done, you finally did something useful. After relaxing for a while, Jinsung finally decided to enter the labyrinth, accompanied by Slap and Lai. Although this labyrinth seemed simple, something about it still gave him the chills, making him shiver like a leaf. It felt like a ghost or something was about to appear. Suddenly, a huge explosion occurred, and a swarm of ghost dragons rushed out. Jinsung immediately ordered Slap to use Ice Wave, dealing hundreds of thousands of damage to the monsters and slowing them down. Jinsung was worried because it would take a while before he could use Berserk again. He also frantically asked Lai to deal with the one on the left. He didn't care if Lai could defeat it. All he wanted was to buy time. As for Jinsung, he quickly activated the effect of the ancient summoner's Iron Fists. He was lucky to borrow Slap's Ice Wave. While rushing forward, he reminded Lai to dodge quickly. As he landed, he gritted his teeth in frustration. If this continues, the battle will drag on forever. In this dire situation, Jinsung's gaze accidentally fell upon the lazy turtle, Puji, yawning in a corner. Jinsung froze, determined not to let it sit there leisurely sipping tea. He ordered it to attack 2 monsters and draw their attention. Even though he heard his own command, Jinsung's jaw dropped when he saw it actually do it. Jinsung didn't spare any praise. Puji, well done. I thought you were just an empty barrel making a loud noise. This lazy turtle quickly retreated into its shell, then received countless critical hits. Although extremely annoyed by this ridiculous tactic, Jinsung still benevolently trusted its monstrous defense. With a strong belief that he would win this battle soon, Jinsung ordered all his summoned beasts to attack. After an intense period, Jinsung's side narrowly defeated them. He looked around, frowning slightly when he noticed that even though he had gone all the way down to the basement, the atmosphere was very different. A bright pillar of light appeared right behind Jinsung. He recognized it as the summoning circle, indicating the appearance of a boss. He quickly alerted his two summoned beasts to prepare for an attack, but surprisingly, what appeared was the ghost of an old man. He smiled kindly and said, "I see Jinsung is a summoner," which made Jinsung feel like he was caught. Jinsung suspiciously guessed that the old man before him couldn't be a monster. He politely asked his identity. The old man just muttered softly, "I never expected the first person to challenge Y's test would be a summoner. I wonder if this is fate." Hearing that, Jinsung asked if the old man's name was Y. After receiving a nod, he asked why he was here. Y simply replied that he couldn't tell him that yet. Before Jinsung could recover from his surprise, he saw the old man raise his staff high and say, "If you pass my test, you will know all the secrets of the labyrinth." The surroundings shook, as if in an earthquake. Aftershocks continued. Y quickly summoned a level 75 Chaos Dragon. Jinsung's mouth fell open at its immense size. This one was twice as big as the Ghost Dragons, which were already as tall as a one-story building. He was even more stunned when he saw it was level 75, hero grade. He absolutely didn't believe he could defeat it. When he felt like he was about to die, the right thing Jinsung believed in was to unsummon his summoned beasts first. The Chaos Dragon roared majestically, its presence reducing Jinsung's stats by 5% for 10 minutes. He resolved that even if he died, he wouldn't retreat without a fight. Y controlled the Chaos Dragon to attack. Jinsung was a bit surprised to see it could also attack with its breath. He then grabbed Puji with one arm while ordering the other two to quickly scatter under the heat of the dragon's breath. Thanks to Puji's defensive ability, he narrowly escaped death, even though that attack managed to pierce through the turtle's bizarre defense and directly reduce 1/3 of its health. He deduced that the Chaos Dragon, like the Ghost Dragons, had low defense and little health. Jinsung officially counterattacked by ordering Slap to use its freezing skill, while he used Berserk to attack from behind. Although Jinsung might eventually have to give up, he would definitely not retreat, but fight. Just as he activated his weakness detection skill, a danger from the Chaos Dragon appeared. It used its tail to deliver a critical hit to Slap. Before Jinsung could warn it, Slap had lost nearly 5,000 health. Jinsung was breathless with anger. Even if it was a boss over level 70, this was too much. He quickly unsummoned Slap. Turning around, he saw his other adopted son also take a critical hit, but it managed to reduce the Chaos Dragon's health by nearly 2,000 and also inflict a bleeding status. Because Lai had landed a critical hit, its combat power was increased for 5 seconds. Jinsung silently thanked the heavens when he realized Lai had attacked the boss's weak point, perfectly matching his weakness detection skill. The Chaos Dragon gradually lost several thousand health points. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Jinsung swapped places with Lai, using Puji as a weapon to attack the Chaos Dragon. Jinsung lamented internally, "Why is every attack a critical hit? You stupid dragon!" Fortunately, Puji was still amazing, only losing about 100 health. Lai, under Jinsung's command, landed another critical hit on the Chaos Dragon, directly causing it to lose over 2,500 health. Although the Chaos Dragon had just suffered a critical hit, Jinsung guessed it still had more than half its health left. After a moment of distraction, he was slammed into the wall by the Chaos Dragon's tail, losing over 500 health. Jinsung's mind was in complete turmoil, his confidence beginning to waver. He doubted whether he could win against this level 75 monster. If not, Jinsung's precious experience would disappear along with a game over screen, and he would be restricted from logging in for 24 hours. Too much to lose if he failed. Even so, Jinsung was determined to ensure Lai survived at all costs. "I can't lose Lai." He looked around for Lai and saw it was still continuing to land critical hits on the Chaos Dragon. Thanks to Lai, he suddenly realized that attacking injured spots would deal additional damage. This meant if Jinsung continuously attacked the injured spots, the damage would increase. He realized Lai had always been attacking the weak spot on the Chaos Dragon's neck. Jinsung was both overjoyed and silently furious with himself for only realizing this now. He hadn't thought before that this feature existed, but that didn't matter because right now, he would test it. After Lai's fierce attack, the Chaos Dragon's name tag was flashing, meaning its health had dropped below half. If looked at from another perspective, it meant Jinsung could only reduce half its health after attacking for so long.